I'm Nancy Leader on the Zeta. The Zeta's recently revealed that President George W. Bush is a clone, one of 14 zygote multiples created at conception. Identical twins occur naturally when the zygote splits. But what if the zygote were encouraged to split more than twins? At this stage, each cell is identical and can produce a human babe. Zygote splitting in nature is what produces identical twins or even identical triplets. In vitro fertilization, commonly known as test tube babies, is not a mystery today. But did you know that experimenting began on animals as far back as 1878? The first successful surrogate mother was a rabbit in 1891. By 1939, human eggs had been extracted and were being grown in the lab, and plans were being made for implantation into human mothers. George W. Bush was born in 1946. Why would this be done for little W? To ensure that the presidency of the United States could be headed by a member of the Bush family, in charge of the most powerful military in the world, the U.S. military, at a time of the cataclysms, the pole shift, so that the Bush family and their cohorts could rule the world. Well, couldn't they manage with just one W or maybe two? Well, what if they get an accident or get brain damaged or get uppity with their handlers and not want to go along with the program or get assassinated? Well, whoop, up pops another clone. Well, it just makes sense. It's a safety net. Per the Zetas, going into the presidential election of 2000, there were 3 clones capable of acting as the President of the United States. Where are they today? Today, Clone 1 is in a secret prison near Denver, too brain damaged by cocaine and booze to be trusted. Remember when Bush never gave press conferences? There was a 17-month period between. Well, that was Clone 1. Clone 2 is viewed as the current president. He's kind of a worrywart, has that expression on his face, and loves press conferences. And Clone 3? Well, he's escaped to Europe, to the House of Rothschild, which acts as the financial puppet master over the U.S. He's being held in reserve. Nice theory, but is there any proof of that? Per the Zetas, the switch from Clone 1 to Clone 2 happened about the 2004 election, and there was a change in the appearance of the president's nose at that time. Prior to this, Clone 1 had a nose that was a hook, either from being broken in the past or from cocaine damage or both. In fact, the break in the nose can be clearly seen, the point of break, and the nose is slightly crooked, kind of pulling a little bit toward the left-hand side of his face. Well, and Clone 1 is a party animal, clearly. After this point in time, the 2004 elections, Bush's nose appeared to be straight. It's Clone 2, who is also anxious with a worried expression. Was a switch to Clone 2 made about that time? Many people noted that about the time of Thanksgiving 2003, that there was more than one clone in evidence. Clone 1 was in the air for a round trip of 30 hours, under cover of a tent in Iraq, and was photographed there with a very pale face. Yet when he emerged into the public eye after the trip in the U.S., he had a deep tan. Did they have a tanning booth on Air Force One? Let's step through some photos of Bush during his presidency and see if we can determine who's who. On June 13th of 2001, Clone 1 with the hook nose was in the public eye. This is the party boy. A year later, on June 4th of 2002, the party boy with the hook nose is still out for photo op. But by February 26th of 2003, Clone 2 was stepping in on occasion. Not only is his nose straight, that worried expression is a dead giveaway. And he was still the public clone on September 7th of 2003. Straight nose and worried expression. Per the Zetas, Clone 1 was closeted away after the 2004 elections, because he had broken down after years of boozing and cocaine use. Who do you suppose the clone handlers provided then for the NORAD meeting following the Katrina disasters of August 2004. Sure looks like a wasted party boy with a distinctive hook nose. Per the Zetas, he's been kept in a prison near Denver, Colorado, nearby the NORAD facilities. Presumably, Clone 2 was busy elsewhere in meetings on what to do about the Katrina mess. Thereafter, Clone 2 was meeting the public on November 30th, 2005, in Europe on July 13th, 2006, with Chancellor Merkel, and after the 2006 elections with Pelosi, and in California after the San Diego firestorm in October of 2007. Well, where is this leading? For the Zetas, Clone 2 is also now breaking down under the strain of the failed Bush dynasty plans. The plans to bomb or invade Iran are failing and has no coalition of the willing. So, Clone 2 is also now hitting the bottle. For the Zetas, a switch to Clone 3 could happen suddenly, assisted by teleporting by the Zetas. For the Zetas, the third clone is more compassionate and would be better for humanity in the White House. Besides, impeachment would take too long. So if you see a sudden change in Bush, don't be surprised. Until next time on the Zeta Report, this is Nancy Leader.